Hello and welcome to NSO at Home Live, a concert series created by the musicians of the National Symphony Orchestra. My name is Marissa Regni. I'm the Principal Second Violin of the National Symphony Orchestra, and I'll be your host today as we bring live music into your homes and hopefully into your hearts. Normally we broadcast live on Sundays, but we have this bonus show this week. This opportunity was thrown in our laps and we jumped right at the opportunity because we love bringing live music to all of you and we love showcasing our amazing musicians. So thanks to all of you for tuning in. This is our fourth show. It's been a huge success. We're of course seen on our own platforms, Facebook and YouTube, but also on the Kennedy Center's Facebook and YouTube channels. And thanks to all of you for tuning in and telling your friends and your family and your neighbors about us. Thanks to all of you. Last show, we had over 10,000 views, so very exciting for us. And we've got a great show planned for today. We've got NSO Principal Violist Dan Foster and his family joining us. We've got we've got a piccolo player, Carole Bean, joining us, and NSO cellist Rachel Young, and her husband will be joining us a bit later. And we have a very special guest for this bonus show today. I'm really excited to be welcoming as a guest and a co-host with me today, our fabuloso, fantastico, magnifico music director, Gianandrea Noseda, who is joining us all the way from his home in Italy. Welcome, Maestro, to NSO
Thank you.
Home Live.
Thank you, Marissa. It's so lovely to see you, and hello, everybody. It's fantastic to be part of this.
It's so great to have you here. So I am wondering how you've been in Italy in this whole quarantining time. It's been a hard time in your country.
It has been very hard, and now the situation is getting slowly better, and we are reopening restaurants, bar, and few activities. But of course, I'm still locked inside because it's still risky to go out. Even to have a walk. Of course, if you are in the wood, is good, but in the cities, you have to respect the social distancing, and it's like everywhere in the world. But I strongly hope that the situation will get better soon.
We do too, and we really, really miss you, and we miss making music with you. So we hope
Likewise.
we get to see you soon, not just a little speck on the screen, but we get to see you in person. Now, I'm curious, all of the musicians have been making, little musical videos, to sort of, pass our time while we're locked indoors. And I'm wondering what it's like for a conductor, because if you make a video of yourself, it's just like a Zumba video, right? Like waving your arms. So what does a conductor do to pass their time during a quarantine?
Of course, I didn't make any video moving my hands also, no. Because as you said, I probably will look like a bad dance. But I took advantage of this unusual free time and a completely unexpected to start to learn new scores, because usually I'm a very quick learner and I have to find the time between performances during my travel activity. But so a lot of scores, I could catch up with my readings. A lot of books I had in my library needed to be read. And so little by little, I'm reading those things. And I started again to play a little bit the piano, starting from scales, arpeggios. But it's very frustrating because I used to be a dignified pianist. And now, of course, the head is going much faster than my fingers. But the situation is better now than 2 months ago. And in the free time to cook a little bit, to taste some wines I don't know yet. So we have these possibilities, and so these kind of things.
Yeah. Well, maybe sometime when you feel good about your piano playing, you can make us a little video and we can post it for the world to see.
It will take longer, I promise you.
Really?
But
okay.
Still, now some Bach and Mozart are getting back to my fingers. But my last professional concert as a pianist has been in August 2001. That means 19 years I barely played the piano.
Well, glad you're getting back to it. And we're so glad to have you here, and glad that you can be an audience member as well as hosting. You can get to listen to this beautiful music that everybody has planned. starting with our first performer, Carole Bean, who's our piccolo player. And she is doing a US premiere of a piece by Amanda Harberg called Hall of Ghosts. And there's a very interesting story behind this piece. I think a lot of composers have had some great creative output during this pandemic. Last week, we heard a world premiere of a flute piece that was written sort of in response to COVID-19. And this piece that we're about to hear is also sort of a response to what is going on. This composer asked several flute players and piccolo players around the world to record some music, some of her music, and send it back to her. And this piccolo player from Leipzig, Germany, Gudrun Hinze, recorded her music in a totally empty concert hall. She had access to the music hall in Leipzig, and she was the only person there, which, can you imagine, Maestro? I mean, we're so used to being in a hall with audience or surrounded by other musicians or staff or, you know, just people, right? And then she was the only person playing her piccolo. And she said it was almost eerie to just be in there alone playing the music. And the composer was very entranced with this idea and sort of thought about maybe ghosts in the hall and their reactions to this music. So the piece that Carole is about to play, you will hear silence. The silences are every bit as important as the music. And so we hope you enjoy this US premiere of Hall of Ghosts by Carole Bean. We're going to go straight over to her house now. Welcome, Carole.
Toi, 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 Carole. Brava, Carole.
Amazing. Oh, she's going to put headphones on. There we go. Bravo. That was so beautiful, Carole.
It really was. It really was. It was fantastic. We did the idea just.
What? Sorry.
No, I'm just. It's fantastic to listen to the artist of my orchestra. I miss everybody of you. I miss the members of the audience, and just to have the real sound. That is fantastic. And the story behind this is fascinating. I strongly believe in the holes. There are always the souls of the composers floating and flying around. And sometimes I tell the orchestra, we have the music exists always. We have sometimes to join it, and we make music. So it was fantastic. Bravo.
Yeah, and in fact, the composer even poses the question in her notes for this piece. She wonders, you know, and everyone can have their own answer to this. But Carole, what is your answer to her question of who wins out here, the ghost or the music?
Right, and the ghosts being the empty audience. And I will say that playing at home is much different than playing at a concert hall. You don't have, even with an empty hall, you don't have the concert hall bouncing off of you in the silence. And here at home, I have kids upstairs taking classes and a dog and cat running around, and there's a lot going on. There are no ghosts right now here. But I will say that she's trying to create this conflict and get the music out little by little. And I think that by live streaming these events and getting our audience back this way, even if it's a much different way, I think that's the way we're reaching those ghosts in the audience. So I think it's I think the music is winning in this case, and not the ghosts.
Absolutely. Well, it was just beautiful, absolutely breathtaking performance. Thank you so much for sharing this U.S. premiere of this piece. And we look forward to being back with you and seeing you in a full concert hall, right?
Yes,
definitely. With the audience. Yeah.
Right.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Carole. It's been lovely to see you. Ciao.
Thank you.
Ciao.
Thank you. Bye.
I want to remind everybody you can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. If you're looking for us on Facebook and YouTube, it's NSO Musicians. If you're looking for us on Instagram, it's NSO_musicians. And we are always posting new content, videos, photographs, all the things that we've been up to during our absence at the Kennedy Center. But we're never absent musically. We've been doing all kinds of stuff, including a recent video that we posted of the finale of Beethoven's Seventh Symphony, which was a lot of fun. And yesterday, just released, hot off the presses, we have an Armed Forces medley just in time for Memorial Day. It's a video that was produced by our principal trumpet player, Billy Gerlach, and he did an outstanding job. The Beethoven he also did, which was amazing. But this Armed Forces medley is just as much fun to watch as it is to listen. He's got all the bells and whistles in it. So I hope you will look for that on our Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram channels. And now we're heading over to the Foster household. Principal violist Dan Foster, his wife Adria Sternstein Foster, who is the principal flute player in the Kennedy Center Opera House Orchestra, and their teenage son Jeremy, who's a budding violinist, are all going to join us right now from their home. And they're going to be playing this absolutely beautiful piece by Antonin Dvorak. This is the first movement of Dvorak's Terzetto. Let's go straight over to Dan and Adria and Jeremy.
There we go.
Bravi.
Wow. Yay.
Hey, bravi, bravi.
Fantastic. Jeremy, you sound amazing.
Thank you.
I mean, they all sounded amazing, but it's so great to see a young person. And I know you want to pursue music, hopefully in college, right? Down the line.
Yeah, I'm thinking so. Yeah.
Yeah. You a sophomore right now?
Yeah.
All right. 2 more years. You're on the right path. I can see already you've got your dad's great bow arm.
Oh, okay. That's good to know.
Now, I know that you are quite a good cook. And I know that so right now, I don't know about you, Maestro, but in the United States, it is very hard to find flour and yeast at the grocery store. People are baking like crazy over here. And everyone's on this bread making craze, and sourdough especially. But I'm here to tell you, Jeremy Foster was making sourdough before it was trendy. He's a forward-thinking man.
Wow.
Yeah. And I
bravo.
think that one time you had some of his focaccia. Yeah. I think at some point you had a piece of his focaccia that he made. Do you remember that?
Of course, I remember. Of course. But I have also to tell you what I was thinking, because this kind of music for trio, duo, quartet were written for this purpose, to be able to play in a family, just together with friends, gathering people at home and just to play. And that is the result of that. And to see a teenager playing with the parents, that means, Dan and Adria, you live the music in the most positive way. And you could attract Jeremy. That is fantastic. It's so refreshing for me. It's like a balsam for my soul to see all of you playing. It's really like that. Yeah. Bravi. And Jeremy, you are very talented.
Oh, thank you.
Keep going.
Sounds beautiful.
Thank you.
Fun to play? Is it fun to play with your parents?
Yeah, I was really excited to do this, and I had a lot of fun.
Excellent. Well, we look forward to hearing you again sometime down the line and seeing your progress and seeing all the places you're going to go. So thank you for being with us.
Thank you.
Good luck, Jeremy.
Thank you. Nice to see you.
Ciao.
And now we're going to go over to Dan and Adria. So Adria, I know in that last piece, the Dvorak was actually written for 2 violins and viola. So you were filling in on the violin. Beautifully done, by the way. But this next piece was written for flute and viola. No substitutions necessary, right?
Right. It's by French composer François de Vienne, and he was a contemporary of Mozart, and he was a flutist as well as a bassoonist, and played with the Paris Opera, actually. And he wrote about 300 compositions, mainly for wind instruments. And this one is one of 6 for flute and viola in C minor. And he was also known as the Mozart of the flute. Day.
Excellent. We can't wait to hear it. You guys take it away.
Bravi.
Oh, amazing. So
Bravissimi.
nice.
Thank you.
Yeah,
That's great.
it's. I know, like so great to hear them together. And
Absolutely.
Dan, you had a workout in that piece, right? You had a lot of notes, which is
Yeah, it's
actually a good warm up for the next piece you're about to play.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're going to
What-
play a little Paul Hindemith for us right now, right?
That is correct. Yeah, a very short thing.
Yeah. Short, powerful and mighty, though. It's short but powerful. I love this movement. It's always incredible to see. And I want you to tell everybody what the composer wrote in terms of how to play this music in English.
He wrote actually surprisingly a lot compared to what composers usually write at the beginning of the movement. So he wrote that it's supposed to be a furious tempo, wild, and that the beauty of the tone is, you could either say unimportant or secondary importance. I like unimportant. That's the first one.
Yeah. Yeah. I can assure you there are days where I wish all composers wrote that above their music. But I think this is the perfect piece to play right now in the midst of all that we're in, especially just sort of the wild and it doesn't matter what it sounds like kind of mentality. Because let's face it, there are days where like none of us take a shower till 4 p.m. We're in our pajama pants. We're just getting by, right? We're just wild and like whatever. So I can't wait to hear this wild, frenzied movement.
Yeah, it's also a good, music oftentimes can provide comfort and solace, but sometimes it's an opportunity to vent. And this is sort of 90 seconds of venting, I would say.
Absolutely.
I like, Dan, I like the background, what is behind your shoulders. I think is fantastic for Hindemith.
Yeah, this is actually Adria's aunt. Her name is Shirley Free, but she lived in Paris most of her life and painted. And so we have a couple of her originals and a bunch of prints in our house. And there's going to be a retrospective in the Pompidou Center for her in a few years, I hope. And we hope to go.
Good. It's a fantastic setup.
It is. Take it away.
Bravo, Dan.
Wow.
Bravo. Fantastic.
Amazing. I was.
You know, Marissa, I was
Overall,
thinking, yeah, I was thinking how every time music doesn't stop to astonish me, because this just adventurous way to go with the viola through this world beginning. It was considered enfant terrible in those years, Pauline Demit, but also thinking about the François de Vienne. If you think this flutist from France, it's incredible because the minor keys were not very popular at that time. If you just recollect the piano concertos by Mozart, there are only two, D minor and C minor. The rest, the other 25, are major keys. So just to have this kind of adventures with François de Vienne to play a duo concertante in C minor, also that is a surprise in a way. Thank you for bringing to our attention. It's been just great, fantastic, and beautifully played. Oh, what a refreshness for me, just being away from music. Bravi, I love you.
So you have one more piece you're going to play for us, and this is from a Mozart opera. Of course, Adria, you are the principal flutist of the Kennedy Center Opera House Orchestra, and I think there's a reason why you picked this particular opera. Can you explain to us? Yeah.
Well, in March, we were in the middle of a wonderful run of Don Giovanni. And when the pandemic hit, and it had to be canceled, obviously. So the last performance that I played in the Opera House Orchestra with Washington National Opera was Don Giovanni. And it was the 11th of March. And I remember audiences were dwindling and people were showing up, and we were wondering, you know, and after the performance, we didn't know when we'd be back. If we'd be back, it wasn't certain. And I packed up our things. We looked at each other and said, see you on the other side of this pandemic. And so it's a bit nostalgic to play this. Yeah.
Absolutely. And of course, it's an opera in Italian. So we need to have Maestro Noseda introduce this aria, because there's nothing like hearing Italian speaking by an Italian.
But this is the La ci darei la mano, the duetto between Zerlina and Don Giovanni, and La ci darei la mano, la mi dirai di sì. Vedi, non è lontano, partiamo, ben mio, da qui. But it's fantastic because the recitativo just in front of this duetto is one of the most sensuous, and the text by Da Ponte, it shows really the seductive ability of Don Giovanni through this young lady. And it's fantastic to see just wife and husband to play this, La ci darei la mano. It's incredible. And also we have to not to forget that this opera was made Mozart very famous in Prague. Actually, it was Nozze di Figaro, and Prague was so impressed that commissioned to Mozart the Don Giovanni. So it's incredible how the fame of Mozart through Nozze di Figaro and Don Giovanni was expanded very quickly. Yeah, I'm so close to this duet. I think it's one of the most beautiful moments in all the Don Giovanni opera.
We can't wait to hear it.
Bravi. Incredible.
Thank you
Beautiful
so much.
music.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
thanks so much to the
Great to see
Foster
you.
clan.
Great to see you. Great to be able to play for you all. We really appreciate it.
No, we appreciate
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Bravi, bravi.
We want to remind all of you that we will not be here on Sunday night. It's Memorial Day weekend, and so on Sunday night, the National Memorial Day concert that's usually broadcast live from the West Lawn of the Capitol. Of course, that's not happening this year because of the pandemic, but it will be broadcast nonetheless. They're using clips from, I think, past shows. And actually, a very small group of us from the National Symphony, there were 10 musicians, we were able to go into the concert hall and record a couple of sound clips for this upcoming broadcast. We were very socially distant. We were very far apart from each other on the stage. Nevertheless, it was a pleasure to see 9 of my colleagues and to play music with them again after this hiatus. It was really a great time to be with them. So please tune in Sunday night. It's on PBS. So look at your PBS local listings for information on that. You can also see it on YouTube. And if you go onto the YouTube channel and type in 2020 National Memorial Day Concert, it will pop up. So we hope you will join us Sunday night for that special show. Also, if you're at home with the kiddos and you're looking for something to do, on Tuesday, May 26th at noon, there will be a special rebroadcasting of a young people's concert that the orchestra did back in October of 2016. This was a concert called Reach for the Moon, and it was a celebration of President Kennedy's vision for America to explore outer space. It's a really fun program with some fantastic music. I was the host for that program. It was a lot of fun, and there's just a lot of great moments. We have a lot of fun, but there's also just some spectacular music. So you can find out information on that if you go to the Kennedy Center website. It's kennedy-center.org/YPC for all that information. Hope you can join us Tuesday, May 26th at noon for that special broadcast. And now we are going to our last family, Rachel Young and Tony Manzo. Rachel is a cellist in the National Symphony. One of my favorites, I have to say, I admit. I love them all, but Rachel's one of my besties. And so I'm so thrilled to have her here with Tony. And they're going to be playing a bit of Bellini. These are some arias by Bellini that were sort of reconstituted in a duet form by Julia Skolterman. So we're going to go straight over to Rachel and Tony's house.
Hi, everybody.
Ah, there they are.
Hello.
So good to see you guys.
Love seeing you.
We missed
Fantastic.
you.
Yeah.
Ciao, nice
Now-
to you.
Ciao. Missing enormously, everybody of you. But it's nice to see at least the technology helps us.
Yes.
A little bit.
Yeah,
A little bit. It's not a real thing, but a little
not really.
bit.
But Rachel and Tony have been very busy bringing music into their community, especially. They've been playing a series of concerts on their front porch. And also, I think some other places as well. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. We have been doing porch concerts for our neighbors. It started off as sort of a coffee concert, and we had a great response. So we've done a couple of those. One was at dinner time, and everyone's keeping our distance, but yes, on different lawns, and they're set up with their food. And then we took it on the road for Mother's Day. We took it to a family friend's driveway, and we took it to Tony's mother's apartment building. We played on the loading dock, actually, and people came out and set their chairs up 6 feet apart from each other. They're wearing masks. But yes, we've had, I got very emotional, especially at the first one, because I just missed playing. It's so nice to play for people, even online. So
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and also there's a great video floating around on our channels, the YouTube channels and the Facebook, of your family playing ping pong in your basement, but you did it with an interesting twist, and I want Tony to tell us all about that.
That was kind of a descent into madness. That was probably a week into the quarantine or so, and we had descended into the depths of our basements to lose ourselves in a little bit of ping pong. And somebody got the inspiration to pick up a musical instrument to use as a paddle, which then went on to everybody else. And we're all hitting back and forth with these instruments, and we found the results to be actually quite mellifluous. And with a little help from my videographer's son, Adam, he put it together in a way that seemed worth putting it out there.
We renamed it Bing Bong.
Bing,
Bing
bong.
bong.
Perfect. Well, everybody, if you tune into Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, you will see that video as well as others. And also some of their porch concerts are on there as well. So I urge you all to check it out because it is very fun. I can give you a little spoiler alert that that Tony did not use his bass as one of the ping pong paddles.
It would have made it easier.
Yeah. Well, we're very excited to hear this duet, which is going to bring out your inner diva and divo. I know these opera arias, and it's quite the barn burner, the perfect way to end our Friday afternoon. So take it away, Rachel and Tony.
I was going to send one more shout out to the Opera House Orchestra because I know they have tuned in because Adria was on today, and I started my career next door in the Opera House, and I miss both concert halls right now. So I just wanted to give a shout out to my colleagues there.
And Bellini especially, my story with Bellini very quickly, I've always stayed away from bel canto because I think bel canto needs this refinement that is not a natural part of myself. But I've conducted both Sonnambula and Norma. And Sonnambula, despite looks very easy, is something I will never wish for my worst enemy conductor to conduct because it's a nightmare, but it's just the most pure and beautiful music. And Wagner himself once said, I will pay a fortune to be able to compose a melody, a tune like Bellini, but I cannot, I'm not able. So Bellini was considered also by Wagner one of the greatest melodists. And I'm so pleased you are just taking Bellini and you present it to us. Love you. Bravi!
Amazing!
Beautiful.
That was great. I don't
Beautiful.
know, I was dancing in my living room. I don't know about you.
Yeah. I was also trying not to show too much enthusiasm because I know Bob is looking at me, so that's why I.
Oh, that's okay. Who cares? It's fun. Well, that's all the time we have for today. I want to thank all the musicians, Carole, Jeremy, Dan, Adria, Rachel, Tony, for being with us and sharing their amazing music with us. Just a reminder, we're not here this Sunday, but we'll be back, NSO at Home Live, next Sunday, May the 31st at 7 p.m. We're coming to you live from my house, actually. I will be hosting and playing, and I've dragged my family into it as well. I'll be joined by my husband Henry and our daughter Sophie. We're going to pull out the guitars, the ukuleles, the violins. We got all kinds of fun stuff planned. So please join us then. Maestro, thank you so much for being here with us. And I'm here to say, please come back anytime. We love having you here.
You don't even imagine how big has been the gift you have been giving me tonight. It's been just great to be part of the audience and just to enjoy your artistry. You are hosting stupendously well, Marissa. So it's been a huge gift. Thank you for this. Thank you.
Well, thank you for being with us. Yeah, thank you. Before I go, I want to thank our producers, Bob Reardon and Jamie Roberts. Where would we be without them? Thomas Baker for his beautiful artwork. And I want to thank Sophie Edwards for helping me every time, setting up all the lights, the cameras, making the magic happen here at home. I don't know where I'd be without her. So thank you to all of them. Thank you all for joining us and for sharing what we're doing with your loved ones and friends. We so appreciate it. Until next time, ciao. Arrivederci.
Ciao. Arrivederci.